everyone put your hands together.
Well, let's hit
for
it.
Bella Green.
Full hour show. Full hour show. We're gonna get into a little bit of comedy. Full hour show. It's a full hour show. Got lots of that variety. We're gonna stop as soon as this phrase ends, and I can't wait to hear what you got to say.
Oh, thank you so much for making me dance uncomfortably. I loved it.
What we do.
That's beautiful, thank you. I'm Bella. When I was a kid, I didn't know anybody else called Bella, but when I got to high school, there were two of us. So we called her Isabella and me Bush Pig. Just so we didn't get mixed up. It was quite helpful. I'm going through a breakup at the moment. Is anybody going through a breakup? A few of you. It's tough. It's a really hard time. My girlfriend and I had been together for like 4 years when we split. And I've learned like quite a bit about myself going through the process. Because I identified as a lesbian before we split quite firmly, but I've been dating men since we broke up as well now, so I think I might actually be lonely. I think I sexually identify as, yeah, why not? No, that's not quite fair, is it? Like, I do like men. I'm attracted to men, but I just don't think I could connect with one on the same level I could, like, with a woman. Like, men are fun and they're kind of playful. It's like having a puppy. I don't want to fuck them either. I have been masturbating a lot lately. Does anyone like to have a cheeky maz? Oh. I feel like this part of the room doesn't know about it. You should give it a try. It's really good. I was getting a little bit reliant on like porn and vibrators and all of the bells and whistles though. And I don't know how healthy that is, right? So I'm trying to scale it back. What I'm doing right now, I'm doing the paleo maz. It's pretty much what it sounds like. You just do it how your caveman ancestors would have done it. That's with a chicken bone. Preferably in a national park, but it's not like a deal breaker for me. I have a lot of sex. I work in a brothel. I am a sex worker. That bit's not a joke, it's just a bit you have to get on board for the rest of the jokes, just to be clear. People normally say when I work in a brothel, the main question is like, are you safe? Is that a safe job? And I feel very comfortable telling you that unlike Karen from finance, all of my sexual harassment is negotiated and paid for up front. It's so handy to get it out of the way at the start, you know? I used to work at nice brothels in the city, but I've been working in the industry for too long now, so I've been moving further and further out into suburban brothels. And I can't help but wonder if I'm gentrifying brothels. I think I might be. I'll pull up for my first shift at somewhere like the Love Palace in Craigieburn. I'll park my Yaris in the car park. And I walk in with my soy latte in hand. I've got my stretchy earlobes and I kind of look around. And like a regular brothel in the city just kind of looks like a nice hotel. But not this place. This is like the real deal. It's like thick red sticky carpets. There's a disco ball in the corner. There's a cigarette machine. And I just walk in and I'm like, oh my God, this place is so authentic. No, you guys, this is so cool. This is like a dive brothel. I'm going to bring all my friends here. And there's like 5 women working there, all called Rhonda. And they know that I'm about to push the property prices up and they're going to have to move further out into the suburbs. But like the culture at a place like that does change by way of someone like me turning up. Like the Love Palace used to be a rub and tug, and now there's an artisanal wristies menu. It's like, would you like a coconut oil lube for your hand job, sir? Perhaps an avocado oil lube. You already own property, you can treat yourself. Eventually they'll get rid of the wristy menu altogether and they just start serving you up like one of those wooden platter boards with like an artistic smear of lube down one side. They just get you to do it yourself. That's called a deconstructed wristy. Oh, you guys are too nice. It'll be $200. Go fuck yourself. Guys that come into brothels always think they're very different to every other guy that comes into a brothel. They're like, you must get some real weirdos in here. And I'm like, no, they're pretty much all just exactly like you. Sometimes they're like, you must get asked to do some really freaky shit. That's how you know in 10 minutes' time, they're going to ask you to do some really freaky shit, you guys. I always ask when someone comes into the brothel, have you been here before? And everyone lies. Every single person has the same answer. It's, yeah, once, but it was a really long time ago. Which I find quite funny because that's what I say when I'm at the chemist and I'm trying to buy something a little bit fun that they might not give me, like pseudoephedrine or codeine. You know, the chemist is like, have you had this before? And I'm like, once. It was a long time ago. It's certainly not a habit, if that's what you're trying to suggest right now. I give a lot of thought to the expression couldn't get a root at a brothel because it's not actually true at all. Like, people can't get a root at a brothel every day of the week. And sometimes it's about money, like they're cheapskates and they want to haggle. But most of the time it's just because they are so rude to everyone when they come in that we all just decline to have sex with them. They are so surprised we're allowed to say no, you guys. It's awesome. And no one ever, like, politely leaves when they're declined service. They'll, like, throw a massive tantrum and say things like, I didn't want to fuck any of you anyway, while they storm out. A bit like me at the chemist. You know, they take your driver's license these days, and like every chemist is a Chemist Warehouse, and they can all already see that you've had Codral Original Formula 3 times this week already. And they say, no, ma'am, we won't be serving you anymore. And instead of leaving politely, I say, fine. Just so you know, I don't normally have to pay for it. And I didn't want to fuck any of you anyway. It did get me thinking though, right, if couldn't get a root at a brothel is not accurate, like, I'm sure there are a bunch of other expressions we just take for granted. I was considering couldn't organise a piss-up in a brewery, because I feel like that would actually be a pretty hard place to organise a piss-up. Like, that's somebody's workplace. I think they have, like, OH&S rules around stuff like that, probably also responsible service of alcohol. I also don't think guys that brew beer would be very easygoing piss-up organisers. This is just a theory I've got, right? I don't think anyone's casually turning up to your piss-up with a slab of VB. There's going to be like a lengthy debate about what the best wild yeast limited run Belgian sour is. If you guys can't tell, I don't know what a wild yeast limited run Belgian sour is. I had to ask my mate for help with that joke. He brews beer. He does not care for that joke at all. He's like, no, it's not about occupational health and safety. It's about maintaining a completely sterile environment in the brewery at all times. Everything has to be sterilised. The taps, the tanks, the fixtures, the filters. If the different strands of yeast cross-contaminate, it's all over. And I'm like, nah, man, I obviously get that. It is exactly the same at my workplace. Thank you, guys. You're fucking delightful. I'm Bella Green. Thank you.
Yeah. You gonna come sit down? you, Bella.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, tell me a little bit about, is it a fellowship at the Wheeler Centre?
Yeah, some literary people are giving me some money to write a book, which is really awesome. So I'm, working on a collection of like funny stories about working in brothels, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's part of a greater narrative of what you're trying to do currently? Like,
I don't know if I'm trying to do anything. I just thought I was funny at some point, and people agreed with me, and I was like, I'm just going to keep doing stuff, and it just kind of keeps happening.
Yeah.
Like this. So,
yeah, exactly. You said, yeah, sure, I'll be on a live talk show.
Sure.
Yeah, you said to us actually that you might be able to demystify the sex work industry for us. Like, obviously you already did. And,
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I covered that.
Yeah, you did.
I guess my question is what are the benefits of demystifying the industry, and why is that a positive step forward?
Oh, I think because there are sex workers everywhere. Like, I think most people are surprised when I say that I do sex work because you don't really know what a sex worker looks like, you know? Like, you've got a kind of fluffy jacket, high heels, fishnets, no head kind of image that the media gives you, but, like, we're everywhere. And, yeah, I think people understanding sex work and that not being so stigmatized means we don't have to hide as much. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people are scared about I guess if it demystifies and if it becomes more part of society, there is this other element, you know, when you talk about, in your stand-up set, you said rub and tugs and things like that. Where there's a lot of sex trafficking, and does that encourage, you know, where's the line between legal brothels and things, and the kind of illegal industry, and how do they balance each other out, I guess?
I'm not like a super legal expert. Okay, I don't know any law stuff at all. But from what I understand, New Zealand and New South Wales have the best models. They have decriminalised sex work.
Models, or like...
Yeah.
Sorry. There we go.
Bella Green!
the best, yeah.
Basically, it varies from state to state in Australia, and we have legalisation here, whereas decriminalisation means it's kind of treated like any other industry with rules and regulations, but it's not a crime, basically, to be paying for sex if you're consenting adults. So that's what I think we would like here.
What do you think, where does this idea that it's a crime come from? Was it a crime? It was a crime.
I mean, it's still a crime in lots of places. It's still illegal in South Australia.
Okay.
It's not technically legal in Western Australia. I mean, America, you can't even enter if you've been involved in prostitution in the last 10 years. So there goes my trip to America. Wow. I think everyone's seen my face now.
And you're at the Writers' Festival?
Yeah, I am. I'm doing a really cool event. So if you want your love life and sex problems solved, I'm doing the Take It From Me panel at the Melbourne Writers' Fest, and the audience submit questions, and we give totally uneducated advice back.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Bella Green.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
I'll grab you. Thank you.
Thank you.